Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels on a fine Wednesday afternoon. Do you know where your Bills defense is? The Buffalo Bills be cutting everybody on the defensive side of the ball. Jordan Poyer, probably the one name that I would look out for as far as a possibility of getting a call from Green Bay. Um, a whole lot of other guys being cut on defense and offense, but wow, that kind of just transpired here over the last kind of 20 minutes or so. I was getting ready to go live. Um, Hope you're all doing well. Good to see everybody already in the comment section mixing things up. Most importantly, Dennis checking in. Dennis, I'm glad to hear the good news, man. Thoughts and prayers. Thinking of you, pulling for you, brother. Hope you're doing well. Um, Obviously, the Packers approaching that moment where they will have to be making their own decisions. A lot of teams around the league making these moves, cutting people. Obviously, franchise tags replaced yesterday, things of that nature. Still no word, still no inkling of what they are planning on doing with David Bakhtiari, Devondre Campbell, among others. Have to think we'll get closer to these answers probably over the weekend. I would suspect news will come out if we're sitting here through Sunday, probably early Monday morning, but possibly over the weekend. And who knows? Maybe there's a Friday news dump in that regard. But speaking of news and getting things to you ASAP each and every week, make sure you sign up for the Cheesehead TV Cheesehead Nation newsletter. Next one goes out tomorrow morning, each and every week throughout the off season, ramping up to twice a week during the season. Get on board now. Lots of goodness in your inbox each and every week here from Cheesehead TV. Not only the latest news, but all the social content that you have come to know and love. And speaking of which, this is, sometimes people say, like, yo, where's your head at? As far as, it's the off season, games aren't happening. You don't have the weekly grind or the weekly kind of, routine. Sometimes your mind wanders a little bit. And that seemed to occur to myself earlier this afternoon when I saw that Bob McGinn's annual draft series has kicked off. And that means lots and lots of new anonymous quotes from NFL scouts for us to pour over and ponder. And I found myself making this. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it is, other than to say that this is a Marvin Harrison Jr. scouting report using only quotes from Bob McGinn's anonymous scouts. Enjoy. He's the real deal. He's legit. He's everything they say. He's huge. He's quick. He's got sneaky speed, and he catches everything. They had a bad quarterback this year, and he still averaged 18.1 yards a catch. He's good on back shoulders, fades, traffic catches. He's a lot bigger than his dad. He reminded me of Calvin Johnson with his size, quickness, hands, speed, body control, and run after the catch. Calvin's much more gifted. I kind of liken him to Larry Fitzgerald. And of the top handful of guys, his character is the cleanest. He's going to be a great NFL player, just like Larry Fitzgerald was. Very similar. Am I all right? I don't know, but that's what I spent about 25 minutes doing when I started reading McGinn's piece on the top 50 players in this draft. Lots of anonymous scouting quotes that always kind of make me laugh. And I don't know if that's a one-off or the start of a series, but I had to get it out of my system because I just laugh at these anon quotes each and every year. Hopefully you did too. The other thing that made me laugh this year was Musgrave staying on his feet. We all remember Matt LaFleur in the locker room after the big playoff game against the Cowboys, extolling the virtues of Luke Musgrave staying on his feet. And I'm here to tell you, while it's great that we saw Musgrave kind of get back into the action there late in the year after missing so much time with a pretty significant injury, man, you go back and watch him start to figure it out prior to getting hurt. Man, the idea of him and of course Tucker Kraft on the field together, but having a legit threat at tight end, and I'll say it, probably the most dynamic player they'll have had at the position since Jermichael Finley. And I know Finley's got his detractors. He had his issues with drops, what have you. But man, Finley was a player, and they have not had a talent of that caliber since Jermichael was, roaming Lambeau Field. And Musgrave can be a serious matchup problem. And I'm excited to see what Matt LaFleur does, not only with the tight end position, but with Musgrave in particular. We saw some of it this summer as far as lots of plays specifically drawn up for Musgrave. And that's saying something for a rookie in his first camp to have like complete basic third down and, packages drawn up for him. I think that's only going to be expanded in 2024. And I think if you're a defensive coordinator, you got a major problem trying to figure out how to slow him down, how to match up with him. I mean, maybe if you have an elite defensive kind of player, like whether that's a safety or a linebacker, you're going to see that guy undoubtedly have to be manned up more often than not. You started to see some of that in San Francisco, right? We saw Fred Warner have quite a few snaps that he played man um, against Musgrave, but I just think that's going to be a weekly thing where teams are going to have to really kind of have a plan for Musgrave. And the sky is the limit as far as his athletic ability, his use in this offense, and the way they can kill you in so many different ways, probably meaning he's going to find opportunities where he has one-on-ones or he's able to get down the seam against zone and things of that nature. I'm I'm I I am so bullish on Luke Musgrave and his production next year. I think is going to be exemplary. Let's put it that way. Hello to everybody in the comment section. So good to see everybody. Hope you're all doing well. We got Mr. Meaty Lip Kisser. What a handle. Thank you for checking in. Musgrave will be the next Aaron Hernandez. Go Pack Go. On the field, I'm sure you mean. And yeah, I could see it. Peter, what's going on, man? Random Packer, Dave Rayner. Oh, we are starting early here, people. I love it. That's a good pull. Well played. Now, Jim, what's up? MacArthur Lane. You guys just keep them coming. It's washing over me. That's what I love. Random Packers. It's the best. Adrian, thanks for the super chat. What kind of ceiling do you think Emmanuel Wilson has? That's an excellent question. I think a big component is what he does this offseason as far as working on his body, getting a little stronger, I would say, probably lower body stuff. And I don't doubt for a moment that he can be a viable back in the NFL. And I think he can be productive. Um, I do think he's going to have a lot of competition this offseason. I think the running back room is about to get an injection of talent, and he's going to have to make the most of every single opportunity. But, as far as like, can he be a rotational piece? Yeah, I think so. I think he can help you on teams. I think he can help you, take a spell from probably your number one back. But I don't see him as a lead back in the NFL. But hey, history in the NFL is littered with late round undrafted guys stepping up and being insanely productive out of nowhere, right? We all saw, the explosiveness in the preseason didn't really materialize in season, although, the situations are always pretty different and the competition's pretty different. But yeah, I think he can contribute to an NFL roster. I think he can contribute to the offensive backfield in Green Bay. I don't ever see that being, where he's a major component of the offense. But we'll see. Like I said, been wrong before. And they call it Nagler's never right for a reason. Jocelyn, what's going on? Goot replicated both the 11 Pats and 11 Pack off. I think off season, is that what you mean? Or offense, I think you mean. And yeah, that's not a bad pull. The two tight end stuff and then all the spread wide receiver stuff that they're able to do now because they have so much talent at the position. And now it'll be seasoned talent going into their second and third years. I mean, again, weapons for days. Nick Seeley, thanks for the super chat, man. Safety free agents getting deep in Goot we trust. Yeah, I mean, you talk about a glut of opportunity, a glut of names out there at safety. Man, there's a lot to choose from. I still think it's unlikely the Packers spend big, and I do think a lot of these names are going to get snatched up by teams that need safety help and have pretty deep free agent pocketbooks at their disposal. But, Goody still has some moves to make. Who knows where they end up as far as, cap space and ability to maneuver and maybe go out and make a splash. But, yeah, I would suspect that most of these names will be gobbled up maybe not right away in free agency, but second wave most likely. And I still think that's probably going to be pretty early for Green Bay. But we'll see. We shall see. FMCH, Jeff Query. Excellent choice. The mullet heard around the world. Mike Witt, how are you, man? Random Packer, Mark Murphy, the safety, not the owner. Well, he's not an owner. He's a CEO. I'd love Blake Corum in the second or third. Another random Packer, Harry Sidney. Harry Sidney's the man. Good call on that one. And Mark Murphy, the safety. I remember growing up and watching him. Excellent pull there as well. Blake Corum, I love the idea. I think he's probably going to go before the Packers want to select a back, but we'll see. I love his tape and I love him as a player, and I'd love to see him in Green Bay's backfield. But yeah, like I said, I think someone will probably pull the trigger first. Brandy, thank you for being a Care the G Club member. 30-month member chat. The day we win the Super Bowl, challenge accepted. See, Brandy, you're always next level, right? You're always ahead of it. I'm so impressed. Carrie Bishop says, random Packer Brian Noble. I think we had that the other day. See, now we're starting to get some duplicates. Tommy's in here with Paul Ott Caruth. We had that the other day. See, you're starting to have to dig a little deeper, people. Dale Norton, good evening from London. Good evening from New York City. I hope you're well, sir. I hope the world is treating you well. Jeezy Baby, what's going on? Have the Packers recovered better than the Saints as far as pushing the can down the road for older QBs? See the Saints still doing it. Jeezy Baby, I'm glad you brought that up. Because, yes, the Packers kind of pulled up, right? Because they had a plan at quarterback. The Saints never had. The fact that the Packers were able to see, okay, there's been a dip in Aaron's play. We're going to draft a quarterback. And, yes, he rebounded and had a couple MVP seasons. But then they found an opportunity to turn the page. And, yes, they kicked the can somewhat like the Saints, right? Trying to get back to another Super Bowl with their superstar quarterback. But they made the tough call of moving on, and now they are riding the ship, so to speak, when it comes to the cap, whereas the Saints had no interest in having a plan post Drew Brees and just kept kicking the can, desperately trying to get back to Drew Brees as his arm got weaker and weaker. The offense somewhat deteriorated around him, and now they are in cap hell seemingly for perpetuity. But I always look at the Saints when I'm kind of trying to show people what the Packers were trying to avoid. And yes, the Packers have handled it much better. I don't think you can look at those two situations and not draw that conclusion. And if you can, then I want to breathe the air on the planet you're living on. What else we got here, folks? Mimsy, what's going on? Any chance the North End Zone seating issues expanded to mirror the South could finally host the Eras Tour? South is useless for events. I don't see that happening anytime soon. It's funny. Did you ask about this before? Because I've never heard or been asked about the North End Zone seating until it's happened now twice in a month on this chat, which is weird to me. But no, I don't see that expanding anytime soon. They just had their latest round of fundraising, essentially, right? The stock sale, and a lot of that is going towards, or a lot of that did go towards the new video boards in Lambo. Some of that will be going to Titletown, but something of that nature, a serious kind of expansion, would most likely come from the funds that they would get from doing some kind of stock sale, which there won't be another one for a while now. So, I mean, that's not to say they could never do it or it won't ever happen, but I don't feel like that's in the cards anytime soon. But who knows, man? Maybe they turn around this summer and say we're absolutely doing something with the North End because of the draft next year. But like I said, I don't get the sense that anything's kind of imminent there. Jocelyn, I love it. Rod Gardner, also a great pick in Madden franchise. See, now we're going. Now we're going somewhat deep. Ooh, Smith South with the underrated Aaron Taylor. Now there's a good selection. Not somebody I've heard before. Super Bowl winner. Absolute, stud on that offensive line. Well done. Well played. Mike Witt, what's going on, man? 2 more randoms. Rich Campbell and Vince Workman. Oh, man, shout out Vince Workman. Talk about just a guy who came to work every day, did his best, contributed. I'm in on Vince Workman. Hell yes. Dylan, thanks for the super chat, man. Any chance of you guys doing a weekly show with a current Packer again? Who would be your ideal guest? I miss seeing Tyler Herrick on the channel. It's funny you say that, Dylan, because we were going to try to start doing like a Tyler weekly thing on transplants, but I can't remember why that didn't end up transpiring. I think it had to do with Tyler's schedule. But yeah, man, the current Packer thing, I doubt it. We had a great time doing that season with AJ Dillon. We had a really good time doing the panel stuff with all the bloggers from around the internet, etc. But man, it's a big lift, and especially to produce the show the way we did. And unless it was like Jordan Love, it just doesn't move the needle, enough to justify the layout of the time, the expense, and the studio and all that. Yeah, I'm really glad we did it. I'm really glad we did the show with AJ. We had a ball, and some of the stuff that came out of there was just great. And almost always the panel was always the most fun. Tyler Brook and Matt Mamba, uh, Jen. I know Wes Hodquist asked about like trading cards. Like there were always great questions. And then Tyler's weekly check in with all the social stuff. It was a lot of fun. It was great. I just don't see that happening anytime soon with a current Packers player. I know I did reach out last offseason to Rasul Douglas about doing something, but his people never got back to me. I would have loved to do like a weekly thing with Rasul. That would have been great. And plus, it would have been hilarious when he got traded, and then we would have had to figure all that out. But yeah, no, I don't know, man. Not at the moment, but never say never. We'll see. What we got here, folks? Your Honor. What's going on, man? Random Packer, Bryce Paup. Man, you talk about a dude who could rush the quarterback. That is correct, sir. Cheeto, what's going on? I apologize if this has been repeated many times. I haven't been able to follow lately. How is the new NFL crop looking? As expected? Surprises? Are you talking about the NFL draft? The class coming into 2024? How is it looking? Really deep at offensive tackle and somewhat shallow at safety. That has been your 30-second update on the NFL draft. Joe, what's going on, man? Why are so many teams releasing or not re-signing their safeties? Do teams that play two deep safeties see these guys as kind of interchangeable? Yes, and you hear that when you listen to the GMs talk. They want interchangeable guys, right? Well, that kind of breeds some homogenous kind of view of the position, right? We want these guys, and hey, Brian has said exactly that. We want them to be interchangeable, and I think for the most part, teams see them that way. But then, some of that is predicated on the fact that there is so much too high being played, keep it all in front of you, really safe coverages that you don't really have guys being asked to play a ton of, man coverage where they're asked to take these tight ends down the seam or whatever, lock up, hip for hip, or, get these arrow or option routes out of the backfield with some of these running backs. So much of it is just keep it all in front of you, rally and tackle. And I think that has led to a place where we're at in the NFL where they don't see the safety position as like anything close to approaching a premium position. And it's been that way for a while. Like the safeties have not been getting paid nearly as much or as well as, pass rushers and cornerbacks. And I think it's only getting worse. And this offseason is kind of, showing how, I mean, I don't want to say, you know, we're not at the running back spot, right? Not yet. And I do think there's obviously a place for talented safeties in the NFL, especially ones that can allow you to do a lot of different things on the back end and disguise things and are kind of great kind of football IQ, instinct, etc. Like, but it seems like those players are so rare, and that might be. And I talked about this a little bit on the radio last week. It might be a product of the fact that they are asked to do so little at the college level that some of this stuff is takes a while to kind of hone your skill at the NFL level as far as all the different kind of route combos and reading things and what you're being asked to do defensively. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's an interesting trend, and it's certainly noticeable. Of that, there's a little doubt. Bryce Bryson, yo, are we finally going to beat the fucking 49ers? Woo, baby. I don't know, but they're on the schedule. So we'll find out, right? Hey, I like their chances. They played a pretty damn good game in that divisional round. Give them a few moves this offseason. And look, the 49ers have got issues of their own as far as who they're going to be able to bring back and what they're going to be able to do in certain situations and certain players, etc. So, hey, man, I like our chances. Let's say that. Smalls, what's going on? Nags was watching the Packers YouTube series on the history of the franchise. Watching Wolf hold up the Lombardi at the mecca of football still gives me chills. Dude, I'm so glad you're watching that. The Legacy series, they had initially when they released it, it was on YouTube, and then they took it off for a bit, and now it is back on YouTube and has been, I think, for like a year or so. Cannot recommend it enough. And yes, that Vista image is amazing. That whole series is just incredible, though. Absolutely, everyone should watch it. Brandy. Tyler's work schedule has too many ups and downs. Airplane jokes. Hilarious. Craig, what's going on, man? I think it would be fun to get Sean Clifford on the regular as a guest. Get his take on being a rookie behind Love. Love this idea. Love Sean Clifford. At this point, it is, kind of a crapshoot when you're talking about players. But hey, backup quarterback. It's a good call. It's a good idea. And he seems to have a good vibe. And he seems to have a really good kind of sense of, how to communicate, especially when it comes to a football general audience. So, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Al, what's going on, man? RP Eric Torkelson, whom I played against in high school. Look at this, random Packer Eric Torkelson. Now we're going deep. Christopher, what's up? Random Packer Doug Evans. That's a good call. Good corner. Nick D, what's going on, man? Rewatched ESPN 30 for 30 Broke with Andre Rison's delusion and Bernie Kosar's raw emotion. It is a great watch. Yeah, that's a tough watch. That, going kind of deep dive into guys with, money issues who make all this money in the NFL and then find themselves broke while they're kind of on the, back end of their career or even, after their career. Yeah, man, that is an emotional watch. Anthony, what's going on, man? Bob Harlan appreciation chat. Love that, man. Anthony, if you go back here on the YouTube channel, I did a whole video about this, how Packers fans owe him everything. And I mean everything. We don't exist as a fan base without him because the Packers do not exist as they are without him. Those are just facts. So any Bob Harlan appreciation is welcome in this chat. No question. Jim, what's up, man? Greg Koch. Look, it is interesting how people of a certain age do draw from a certain reservoir and others from their reservoir. A lot of fun. Mr. Tundra says, hit like, people. Good advice. Cheeto, what's going on, man? Yeah, we're going to beat the 49ers. We're going to the fourth quarter of them like they fourth quartered us repeatedly without remorse, crapping on our dreams. Man, y'all are hung up on the 49ers. I get it. I understand it. It's not as frustrating for me, but I understand. Mimsy, what's up? Wallers owes us a Packer for withholding Matt LaFleur. Wallers isn't withholding Matt LaFleur. It just hasn't worked out. Denny, what's going on? Just wanted to shout out to my friend Red Batty, greatest equipment manager in NFL history. The fact that Red's still doing that is amazing. And yes, he's incredible at his job. Everyone in that building loves him. Phenomenal stuff. Absolutely phenomenal. Random Packer from Uncultured Barbarian, Anthony Dilwig. Man, we are taking a deep dive. Deep dive. Brandy. Fields wasted Getsy's prime. Yeah, well, we'll see. Now that Getsy's out in Las Vegas, we'll see who is wasting who, right? Can't wait. All right, everybody, I got to get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor and hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night. Go Pack, go.